The new TV deal for the NFL, how does it affect us fans? Well, find out in this video. Hi everybody, my name is Greg, and this channel is dedicated to the Washington football team, formerly known as the Washington Redskins. So if you're new here, you're going to want to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you will never miss another video release. So the NFL has inked a big TV deal, and I want to break down with you what this TV deal consists of. So this TV deal, it is an 11-year deal with a 7-year opt-out option for the NFL. It is worth over $113 billion. So it also involves some streaming services as well. Amazon Prime Video, Paramount Plus, Peacock, and ESPN Plus. Within this deal, ABC will be able to televise 2 Super Bowls. They will televise the Super Bowl in 2026 and the Super Bowl in 2030. Also in this deal, Monday Night Football games can be flexed. So if there is a big game up ahead, that can possibly be flexed to Monday Night Football, kind of like how it's been with Sunday Night Football. And speaking of Monday Night Football, you will also see a lot more double headers. And of course, ESPN will continue to broadcast the Monday Night Football games, but you'll also have a simulcast with ABC, which will of course will be great for those who do not subscribe to ESPN. Now toward the end of the season, usually you tend to see NFL games being played on Saturday. You know, of course, once the college football season is over, you'll also have a chance to be able to see some doubleheader action on Saturday football. The Nickelodeon games will be back as well. Amazon Prime Video will have exclusive rights to Thursday night football games. Speaking of exclusive rights, ESPN Plus will have the exclusive right to carry the international football games. Also within this deal will be NBC's Peacock streaming service, which will have exclusive rights to carry 6 games. And Paramount Plus will have expanded rights. And as I've said before, the NFL can opt out of all of this after 7 years. So let's break all of this down into bite-sized terms that all of us will be able to understand it a little bit better. Now, I have read a lot of the comments from around the league with fans complaining about the possibilities of having to take out multiple subscriptions to all of these streaming apps just so that they can watch NFL football. And there is a segment of the population that only receives TV through over-the-air antennas. In fact, Nielsen has reported that 16 million homes are using over-the-air TV to bring in broadcast TV. That is a 48% jump in the past 8 years. So what does this have to do with the NFL? Well, in fact, fewer and fewer people are subscribing to traditional pay TV services. And this is one thing that the NFL is looking at. However, the NFL is assuming that even though that these people are receiving a lot of their broadcast TV through over-the-air means, that they're also supplementing their TV with streaming services. Now, this may be true, but it's probably not true for every single person who has decided to cut the cord. Now, for those customers who are supplementing their over-the-air TV service with streaming services, that doesn't mean that they're going out and subscribing to every single streaming service that is created. After all, that would kind of negate any savings that they would save by cutting the cord from traditional TV. But getting back to the NFL and these streaming services, yes, on the surface it does appear that we're going to have to look at subscribing to Paramount and ESPN and Peacock and Amazon and all of that. But let's take a look at the breakdown and actually see how many of these folks, for instance, are already subscribed to Amazon Prime. In 2019, it was reported that 112 million US folks were subscribed to Amazon Prime Video, which is roughly a third of the US population. And also keep in mind that Amazon Prime folks can also add other people to their Amazon Prime account. So essentially, you can have even more than that who actually have access to Amazon Prime Video. With that being said, then you're looking at the Thursday night football games that Amazon Prime would exclusively have rights to air. You're probably looking at around 6 or 7 games per season, which actually is not that many games when you get down to it. And in my experience, I have found that the Thursday night games usually tend to not be very good games. And honestly, the only time they ever really tune in to watch a football game on Thursday night is if my Washington football team is playing. Now, I might watch some other games as well, but I usually don't stay up and watch the entire game. I may watch a half. If it's a good game, I may watch a little bit more, but honestly, most of the time, I'm only going to watch Thursday night football if my team is playing. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of other folks are probably saying the same thing because, honestly, you're still having to work on Friday morning, so a lot of us don't want to stay up too late to watch a football game that you don't really have an interest for. But I would probably wager to say that most football fans are probably already Prime members to begin with, and so this is probably not going to be a huge problem for a lot of folks anyway. Okay, so what about these other streaming services? Well, when you look at the Peacock deal, for instance, they are scheduled to broadcast 6 games. However, that is 6 games spread across 6 seasons, which means it's only going to be basically 1 game each year that they're going to have exclusive rights for. And Peacock right now, it costs you around $4.99 a month, so you could essentially take out a membership for like 1 month just to watch that 1 game. So it basically costs you $5 to watch one NFL game. And if you've never signed up for Peacock, certainly you could probably sign up for a trial version just to be able to watch that game as well. I might be inclined to do something like that, or maybe even take out 1 month of a membership if it was going to be a huge game. Let's say, for instance, my Washington football team was going to play the Dallas Cowboys. That's always a big game, and so certainly I would want to see that game. Now, would that be too much? $5 membership to a streaming service for 1 month to be able to watch that 1 game? How much is it going to cost you if you go out to the local sports bar? Now, with Paramount Plus, which used to be CBS All Access, will have expanded coverage of NFL games. Now, if you're already a subscriber, you already know that NFL games are carried on the subscription service, as it provides you with live streams of your local CBS station. So you can already watch the NFL on Paramount to begin with. And Paramount is currently valued at $6.99 a month. Now, I'm not quite sure what expanded coverage means. Maybe it's exclusive content to post-game press conferences, or maybe it's interviews with teams and stuff like that before the game. I'm not quite sure. But I would say that it may be worth it for you if, one, you don't have access to CBS over the air, or 2, if you already want to take advantage of some of the other content that Paramount Plus is going to provide to you. I would say, though, if you're able to pick up CBS already over the air with an antenna, it's probably not going to be worth it to you. Now, with the ESPN Plus, things are a little bit different. They're going to provide you with access to the international NFL football games that are usually played kind of early in the mornings. Now, I don't know if there will actually be any international games this season. Of course, they were canceled this past season due to current events. So I don't know if we're going to have any international games this season. But once we do have international games, you'll have to take out a subscription to ESPN in order to be able to have access to those games. Now, as far as the cost of ESPN Plus, it is $6 a month, so it's really not a huge amount of money each month for ESPN Plus. And if you're already a Disney fan, or you have a subscription to Hulu, you may want to check into seeing if you can get the bundled deal. The bundled deal with ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu comes to about $13 a month, which is actually not a bad deal. But let's say that you're going to take out a subscription to all of these subscription streaming services just so you can watch every single NFL game that you can have a chance to watch. Well, if you add it all up, it's probably going to cost you around $18 a month. Essentially, what you could do is take out these subscriptions until the NFL season is done, and then kind of put these subscriptions on ice. But however, all of you who are so patient and have stuck with me in this video, you're really wanting to know, what's the deal with NFL Sunday Ticket? And the answer is, well, the NFL hasn't said anything yet. The NFL has not addressed this, but their deal with DirecTV is supposed to end at the end of 2022. So my assumption is that the NFL is going to shop the NFL Sunday Ticket to other resources, or maybe just do away with it altogether, which in all honesty would probably be the best thing, because then they could have the option of using the NFL Game Pass to be able to provide live action to any NFL game that a fan would want to see. Of course, they already do this for the international fans, but right now the US fans do not have access to this. To me, this would make the most sense, because honestly, no fan wants to have to be stuck in a huge contract with DirecTV just so they can have access to NFL Sunday Ticket. And most of us, and I may have already mentioned this before, but most of us are not fans of teams that are within our market. For instance, I live in North Carolina, so this is Carolina Panther country, and I'm a Washington football team fan. So if I want to watch the Washington football team, I'm either going to have to take out a subscription to DirecTV and NFL Sunday Ticket, or I'm going to have to spend every single day or every single Sunday at the sports bar. The other thing that the NFL has kind of touted is the fact that they are going to provide more options of being able to watch NFL football games and content through over-the-air free means. And supposedly this is something that they have now more than ever have been able to do, but that isn't exactly true. Back before the days of all these streaming services and the internet and all that stuff, the NFL exclusively broadcasted all of their games on over-the-air free broadcasts. Now, back when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, you had all of the games basically being broadcasted on CBS, NBC, and ABC. You had CBS carrying all the NFC games, and you had NBC who were carrying all of the AFC games. And then, of course, you would have ABC carrying the Monday Night Football games. And then later on, as Fox got created, Fox got the rights to be able to carry the NFC. CBS then switched to the AFC. And, well, the ABC, they were still carrying the Monday Night Football games basically up until a certain point. And then ESPN took over ABC's Monday Night Football. But as things progressed, of course, we started to see more games being played behind paywalls. Still, I would probably argue that other than ESPN Sunday Night Football that became Monday Night Football and that sort of thing, a lot of those games were not necessarily what I considered huge games. Those games are still being played on nationally televised broadcast stations. And that is where I kind of get to this point. I really feel like that with all of these changes, when you really start to dissect this NFL TV deal, I really believe honestly that you're going to still wind up having access to the games that you already pretty much have access to. Now, certainly the big kicker is going to be the NFL Sunday Ticket. Now, if the NFL Sunday Ticket suddenly gets offered to everybody through the NFL, which honestly I think is what should be done, then you're going to see a lot of people be willing to spend the money for that, because guess what? People are willing to pay for that. They're just not willing to pay DirecTV. Now, one thing that I think will be really interesting is Fox's free streaming app called Tubi will be offering the condensed games. Before, being able to watch condensed games was only something that was offered through NFL Game Pass. So being able to watch the condensed games through Tubi will be pretty cool, I think. Now, I don't know all the details. I don't know if every single condensed game will be offered through Tubi. But if so, that's going to be pretty huge, and that is definitely something that I think is a good step in the right direction for the NFL and for its fans. With that being said, what do you think about the new NFL TV deal? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. It's free to give me a like. It doesn't cost you anything, and it just takes like 1 second to hit that thumbs up. And as well, if you're enjoying this channel, please consider subscribing to this channel and hit that notification bell too, so you'll always be notified when I come out with new videos. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video, and guess what? Hell to the Washington football team.